It's official, Scream 8 is happening. Critics and fans everywhere are asking themselves, why? And the answer is simple. Scream 7, despite being a moral, creative, and critical failure on every front, made a ton of money.
Huge numbers this weekend. It'll break box office records.
$200 million worldwide, more money than any other Scream movie. So, of course, Scream 8 is happening.
Cause let's face it, baby, these days, you gotta have a sequel.
In this video, I want to ask the question, is it even possible to make a good Scream movie at this point, given everything that's happened on camera and off camera? In order to answer the question, is it even possible to make a good Scream movie at this point, I want to first look at the 7 traits that I consider to be the touchstone qualities that make a Scream movie a good movie, and then assess whether or not it's possible to do any of those things anymore. Welcome to Screaming Queen with James Tyson. This is my first video, so hovering over the question of, is it possible to make a good Scream movie, is also hovering the question of, is it possible for me to make a good YouTube video? It's very meta. For Wes.
To Wes!
According to Deadline, Spyglass has hired the Zuckerman sisters, who I actually wasn't familiar with, but they seem pretty seasoned. They were the showrunners on Poker Face, they've written for Suits. I don't really know a lot about them, and to be honest, this video is not necessarily aimed at them or about them. This video is more about the general sense that whether it's the studio or producers, firings and hirings, boycotts, critical panning, and fan disappointment.
How can fandom be toxic?
But it seems like the team has lost sight of the forest through the trees. First, I want to say, I'm a huge fan of the Scream franchise. Well, I was. Now it's starting to feel like a hostage situation. I have loved Scream since I was like 9 years old. I was literally that age at Blockbuster Video making my mom rent every Scream movie every weekend for like 3 years. Shout out to the Bakersfield Blockbuster employees for not calling Child Protective Services on my mother.
That woman was a slutbag whore who flashed her shit all over town like she was Sharon Stone or something.
Your mother was no Sharon Stone.
Wow, that's really hurtful when it's aimed at you. Anyway, all of this is to say that as I criticize and talk about what's going on in the franchise now, please know that I love these movies. I also do want to give a shout out to the Boycott because I really wish I'd joined. Let me tell you, because I gave Scream 7 money and I left that theater with neither my morals nor a good Scream movie.
That was so fucking stupid. Pure horseshit. The death of horror right here in front of us.
And now here they are running off to make more. So I'm the problem, first to admit. Having said that, you are probably watching this on an iPhone. You might share the video on Instagram or Twitter. You also might be logging into YouTube with your Google account. And I'm just saying that between Google Meta and Facebook, there is no ethical consumption in what's going on right now. Anyway, that is just to say, if you're boycotting the franchise, keep going. You're not missing out. So let's get started. 7 traits that make a Scream movie a good Scream movie. Probably could have called this video 7 ways that Scream 7 totally sucked as a Scream movie, but it seemed negative. This list does double as a list of things that I feel were completely neglected in Scream 7, but also as a list of the positive traits from throughout the entire franchise. I don't want to call them rules, but...
Don't you know the rules? What rules? You don't...
There are rules for making a Scream movie good!
Have an aneurysm, why don't you?
A little callback to Scream 1. Anyway, I'm getting on my own nerves. Let's get to it. Number 7. Characters cannot make stupid horror movie decisions. I wanted to start here because this is the alpha and omega of Scream. The franchise is at its most fun when you know that the characters are smart and they make smart decisions, or conversely, when they are forced into a dumb decisions. One of the best moments from the franchise is in Scream 1, of course.
They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
Then, 2 minutes later, she can't get the door unlocked, and what does she do? She runs upstairs. The blocking of it, she was forced into that, and the whole meta-textuality of it makes it as funny as it is scary. That's Scream at its best. Another great example of smart characters and when the franchise just thrives, Scream 6, right? For whatever you might think of that movie, I will go to bat for the Gale Weathers phone call scene.
This is long overdue.
I agree. Please.
For all of that movie's flaws, this is the North Star. It's the dialogue.
You know you're like the 10th guy to try this, right?
It's her quick thinking. It's her shooting before waiting. It's her using the phone.
Can you hold, please?
The characters have to make smart decisions. The plot has to revolve around smart decisions. There's something called an idiot plot, which is a plot that is kept in motion solely by virtue of the fact that everybody involved is an idiot. It is exactly what the franchise is meant to parody the second it starts doing it itself. Looking at you, Scream 3, parts of Scream 5, and pretty much all of Scream 7.
Pure horseshit, the death of horror right here in front of us.
In Scream 7, the characters make so many dumb decisions. I feel like I got stabbed in the brain. I don't even just mean the cannon fodder characters, I mean Sidney Prescott. The amount of dumb things that Sidney Prescott does. There's a point in Scream 7 where Neve Campbell drags her daughter into a panic room, which, as we all know, is designed for you to sit in and panic, wait for safety, and instead they make it into the room and then immediately leave. There's a million decisions like that. I don't want to keep going on. It's not just about the characters being smart, it's about the movie itself being smarter than us. Number 6, the killer's technology has to feel accessible to the general public. This is a key component of the first Scream and the second Scream. Especially when the first Scream was made in '96, people actually answered the phone, their landline. People actually had conversations on their landline.
Hello?
It made the whole conceit of the killings that much scarier because this was something that everyone kind of did, and it was a technology that everyone had. Scream 2 actually also kind of stayed ahead of it. In the first opening kill, Jada Pinkett drops a Star 69 reference.
Bitch, hang the phone up and Star 69 his ass. Damn.
And that might not mean a lot to you young people, but that was a really big deal when it came out. The fact that someone could call you on the landline, hang up on you, and then you could Star 69 them and it would call them back, revolutionary. But also...
Who is this?
You tell me.
Corey Gillis.
Caller ID! Between Scream and Scream 2, there are reports that the amount of people getting caller ID tripled. And then you get to Scream 3. You had a killer who had a voice thing that could mimic all of the characters' voices?
What is this thing?
It's like science fiction.
Dewey's got our voices.
The technology has to feel accessible to the general public. This is also a problem with Scream 7. Yeah, they incorporated AI, but one of the killers throws out a line at the end about how he had a master's in AI or something. I'm paraphrasing because I do not want to watch that movie again. That's a part of why the AI doesn't hit. The whole thing is centered around a level of AI deep fakery that I don't feel like any high schooler in America could accomplish.
You're overthinking it. Am I, or did whoever make it just underthink it?
It's outside the bounds of what makes Scream scary, which is...
There's something real about a guy with a knife who just snaps.
Number 5, paranormal and psychotic hallucinations are a no-no. Please stop. I don't know if anyone stands by this decision.
You're just like me. You're just like...
And for as much as I do defend Scream 5, this is easily its biggest swing and a miss.
How you doing, Sam?
Boy, this doesn't work. And I love to see Skeet Ulrich getting a paycheck. I love it! Skeet Ulrich? Either way, not blaming you.
You're the villain.
No more talking to ghosts. You guys gotta stop that. You can't have too many locations. At its best, each Scream movie, when it works, terrorizes a community. Often that community is Woodsboro, which I think works best in the first movie. But, you know, in Scream 2, we're on an isolated college set. Even the movie theater is attached to the world of the college. The college is being terrorized. Once again, Scream 3 is our example where things start to veer off. Los Angeles is not a good decision for a Scream movie in ways that I didn't actually fully understand until I moved to Los Angeles like 3 years ago. Los Angeles is like 250 square miles. It's funny because now I'm here. The location from where I think Cotton must have lived, which I'm guessing is like Beverly Hills, is so far from the Hollywood Hills where Parker Posey's character lives, which is so far from where production would have been, which my guess is Burbank. Point being, in Woodsboro, like, everyone in Woodsboro is scared. Like, in Scream 3, like, there's only like 10 people in Los Angeles who know that those killings are even happening. It's one of the many reasons why that movie is tensionless. New York is brilliant because, unlike Los Angeles, it kind of flips everything. Like, I lived in New York City for 17 years, and it's kind of true. If you got stabbed on the subway, people might just watch. The movie uses the location well, so even though it doesn't fit the rule, it does kind of deal with the rule by making the location itself a part of the tension. On paper, Scream 7 is meeting this rule, that the movie is set in this one small town in Indiana, I think, that Sidney Prescott has moved to.
She deserves to have her happy ending.
The opening kill is in Woodsboro, which is states away from Indiana. And the characters don't even know that they're in a Scream movie until like page 30. Like, yes, there's an opening kill, but nobody even knows about it.
Pure horseshit. The death of horror right here in front of us.
Rule number 3, the killer can't come out of nowhere, and their motive has to be connected to the story and contain the film's social commentary. I know some people have issues with Billy Loomis's mother as the killer in Scream 2, but for me, oh my god, it works. First of all, it's anchored by Laurie Metcalf's performance. Second of all, and probably most importantly, it was the first horror movie I ever saw.
You don't know what it is to be a mother. To raise a child and teach him.
Having said that, the reason it's fun is that she is actually peppered throughout the movie. She appears here and there about 4 or 5 times before she's actually revealed as the killer. And though it does feel like, oh, just this weird side character, her motive is then revealed to be directly connected to the plot of the first movie and to the arc of the main character.
You want to blame someone? Why don't you blame your mother? She's the one who stole my husband and broke up my family.
You then also have Mickey's motive, which is the social commentary side. I know it's kind of hard to see the context of this now, but his whole thing about blaming the movies and getting the Christian Coalition to pay his legal bills.
Dershowitz or Cochran to represent me. Bob Dole on the witness stand in my defense.
Those are actually very biting pieces of social commentary. Acidic, in fact, especially for 1997 and especially coming from a gay screenwriter.
And then you have Scream 7.
Pure horseshit.
God bless Anna Camp. You did your best. God bless Ethan Embry. You did what you could with the 3 words you were given in that script. It's not your fault that these are the worst killer reveals in the entire franchise. They weren't set up well. The social commentary is like all over the place. It has so much exposition to just even explain who they are in relation to Sidney and the story, because most likely you forgot because they were only in the movie once. Also, I love and respect you, Kevin Williamson, but I mean, you gotta admit, it's a really bad sign when you ask the director and one of the screenwriters about the killer and their motive, and their first response is, oh, well, it's the 7th one. Oh boy. I'm glad you got your money. Justice for Melissa Barrera. The killer motives are a huge part of why people come to this movie. It's a huge part of why the original was such a revelation, and it really has felt overlooked in the past few movies. I think 5's is actually very insightful. I know some people on the internet kind of disagree, but I kind of think they're the people that are being criticized, so...
And can we talk about the title?
Scream 6, the motivation is dumb, but I accepted it mostly because I think Scream 6 is just a hell of a well-made movie. It's a fun ride. To be fair, That was probably the beginning of the end. By accepting that, we then got Scream 7. I kind of went whatever. And now I wish I hadn't, and now I'm making this video, so... Anyway, rule number 2. It cannot be about Sidney Prescott. Now this sounds counterintuitive, and you might be saying things like, you're an idiot. Of course they're about Sidney Prescott. You don't know the Scream movies. I fucking hate you, and I hate your channel. Hear me out. Scream 1 is not about Sidney Prescott. Her character is a tool in that movie, a tool of the screenwriter to make a commentary about that genre and a commentary about violence and the radicalization of modern youth and the lines between art and real life. That's what Scream is about. Scream 2, for all of its potential flaws or feeling dated now, is also not about Sidney Prescott. It's about sequels.
Sequels suck.
No, come on, man.
Oh, please. By definition alone, they're inferior film.
And then Scream 3. Sequelitis from go. It's plotty. It's about Sidney's mother. That's where Scream 3 and Scream 7 go completely awry. They are so earnest in their obsession with Sidney Prescott and their portrayal of her plight. She is not a compelling enough character on her own to justify that kind of writing. There's not enough tension. There's almost like a Superman element with her where she's too good and she's too successful at killing the killer.
The problem with Sydney is that she never gets laid, or even a little shit-faced once in a while.
Scream 5 did such a good job of using Sidney because it's absolutely not about Sidney Prescott. Sidney Prescott in that story functions as a requel legacy character. You know, it's a stock character at this point. And she plays it well, and the script utilizes her well because the script is not concerned with the machinations of Sidney Prescott's life. Scream 4 and 7 and 3 are at their most boring, or I will say least dramatically interesting. They're at their most boring when they're focused on Sidney. This is also to say that, like, Scream cannot live by a well-acted Sidney Prescott performance alone. Neve Campbell cannot act good enough to make a Scream movie good. Here's what I mean by that. She's actually quite tremendous in Scream 7. I think it's her best performance. It's certainly her best performance as Sidney, and despite that, it's the worst Scream movie. And also, she's very good in Scream 3.
I saw her doing.
Upstairs, come on, let's go.
It's okay, Sid.
And yet, Scream 3 is not good. Rule number 1 for how to make a good Scream movie. The film has to be honest about what's happening in the real world. The meta elements of the movie already have the fan base coming in with reality in the foreground of their perspective. That's how the franchise has trained us. Now, for the first movie, they could get away with a lot more because obviously nobody knew anything about the film. The only thing you knew going in was that Drew Barrymore was the lead and the biggest star, which is why it was such a shock that she was killed first. That real-world knowledge was a fundamental part of how the movie created its most visceral impact. The audience's real-world knowledge of the genre, of the players in the movie, of behind-the-scenes dynamics have a direct impact on how effective the franchise is even capable of being in scaring people. So let's look at what that has meant throughout, right? So like Scream 2, part of why for some people the impact of those killer reveals don't hit is that it's pretty well known that that script was leaked and that those killer reveals, at least one of them, was maybe a switcheroo at the last minute. So it feels, because of that knowledge, like not as visceral. And as much as I love the movie and even the motive that they came up with, it is hard to argue with the fact that like Nikki's not the best reveal. And that real world knowledge on the part of the audience is part of why. Scream 4, they really tried to use this to their benefit by really pushing Emma Roberts as the big new lead so that, of course, when she was the killer, that was a part of the fundamental surprise. We thought this was our ingenue, that was the real world knowledge that we came in with, and for the most part, that one like kind of works. But the behind the scenes of this franchise have now created such a divide between what we're seeing on the screen and what I'm even capable of experiencing as an audience member. And then what you came out with felt like a $500,000 last minute rewrite. Like, no one even said the names Sam or Tara. Like, there's just a big gaping thing we're not allowed to talk about in a franchise that is kind of known for being the, like, honest one in the room. And now we're here. The answer to the big burning question of this video: is it even possible to make a good Scream movie at this point? And the answer is, I really, really don't think so.
What? Nice twist, huh? Didn't see it coming, did you?
So, score one for the people who were like, obviously it's not gonna be good at the beginning of this video. You are, savvy.
And can we talk about the title?
Because yeah, obviously it's gonna be bad. We're stuck in this limbo with these Frankenstein pieces of the franchise. We'll never have the core four back. Not to mention, y'all shouldn't have fired Melissa Barrera. For so many reasons. This is no disrespect meant towards the writers that they've hired. I'm happy y'all have a gig. The industry is on fire, so by all means feed your families, but we are in the weeds on this franchise. Location-wise, I don't even know where you set it at this point. If we're back in another small town neighborhood, it's like so been done. I am happy they brought in new writers because Guy Busick seemed out of ideas. And that's not me, that's Guy said that. Here's a direct quote from Guy Busick. At a certain point, the hardest part is the villain and the motive. I think I'm out of villains and motives at this point. I want to see new blood. I want to see new ideas. And God bless you, buddy. You wrote Ready or Not. So I am glad they got some new writers in, but you get the sense that they don't understand the assignment. Because in addition to all of what I think are the qualities and things that they needed to hit, that I don't think Scream 7 accomplished any of these things. They also needed to launch a new cast, and it simply didn't. And it didn't launch a new core 4. It really just made me sad for what could have been. So, is Scream 8 going to suck?
Ooh, I love scary movies.
I'll wait for video.
And again, no disrespect to the Zuckermans, but I don't think I can give this franchise money anymore. Gas is like $6 a gallon here, okay? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 8 times, you got a lot of money out of me. Anyway, thank you for watching my first video. That's my take. Maybe you disagree, maybe you hate me. Leave comments, just please be nice. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Let me know what you want me to talk about. You can expect more reviews, more thoughtful deep dives. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you next week.
To Wes!